Legends of HellTown. Before we start with the legends, let's get a little background on this city before it became the evil place we know it as today. One of the most well-known areas in Ohio has to be HellTown. There are so many legends that are formed from the now abandoned town to make HellTown live up to its name. Although it wasn't always HellTown, the village was originally claimed by the natives of Mingo, but they abandoned the site around 1755, and the Lenape founded in the 1770s. According to the Lenape, the town was called Clear Town till they found out clear in German meant hell. Around 1806, construction projects brought settlers, and the railroad station installed in the 1880s made the town thrive. The first mill was finally built in the early 1820s. In 1974, President Ford signed a legislation that allowed the National Park Service to buy the area and turn it into a national park. Not good news for residents. This meant the government could take possession of their land. The idea was that they would demolish the town and turn the area into a national park. All the residents had to be evacuated, leading to graffiti that read, "Now we know how the Indians felt." The government never really got around to knocking down structures. There are so many streets that contain rows and rows of abandoned homes with no trespassing signs, and burned down homes that were burnt for firefighter practices. With hundreds of homes being purchased in such a period of time, the government quickly fell behind schedule in tearing them down. It was not uncommon to drive down the street and find several boarded up houses sitting next to the burned out remains of others. It is easy to see how legends and ghost stories grew around a town that looks like it had been abandoned in the middle of the night. Now, the legends of HellTown. Government conspiracy. Although records show that there never was a chemical spill of any type in the area by the government or anyone else, unfortunately there may be some truth to the chemical tales. The Krajewski family owned a private dump not far from HellTown. The dump was part of the park that was created in 1974. Though the National Park Service didn't acquire the land until 1985, they thought it was just an old junkyard. But park rangers started reporting strange odors leading to headaches and rashes. One man became physically ill while collecting old bottles. The Environmental Protection Agency ran tests and discovered that there were a number of toxic substances in the area, emanating from thousands of drums of chemicals dumped by major companies. The site was closed and a massive cleanup operation got underway. The dump became a Superfund site, and as of 2015, the NPS is wrapping up restoration of the area. It was soon discovered the dump was highly polluted with toxic chemicals and improperly disposed of. The government covers up the fact that there are oil spills, and this has caused bizarre mutations in the area. Another rumor persists that the residents were driven out due to a chemical spill. Abandoned buildings and no trespassing signs put up by the U.S. government fueled these rumors, which often said the chemicals in the area caused mutations in the local children. The chemical spill is also said to have created the Peninsula Python, a monstrously huge python that is said to reside in the woods. There is no evidence this python exists. This is why the part of the city is known as Toxicity. The cemetery legend. There's multiple cemetery legends. One is the local cemetery is haunted by a ghost that sits on a bench and stares blankly into creation. First of all, how many ghosts know what it means to stare blankly into creation? But oddly enough, that's almost always the way the ghost is described. The home to the spirit is said to be Boston Cemetery. And while people still continue to report seeing this ghost sitting on a bench in the cemetery, one major problem: there are no benches in Boston Cemetery. Another cemetery legend is the cemetery is dark and on top of a cliff. The cemetery is possibly the creepiest place in northern Ohio. The cemetery road winds along a cliff. You could try to drive your car up there, but odds are you'd slide down the rocky cliff on the other side. Boston Cemetery contains the graves of a large number of children who were killed in a bus accident. The house in the woods. There is an abandoned house in the woods where one light always appears in the upstairs window very late at night. The school bus. A whole busload of children were slaughtered in the woods by a serial killer, an escaped mental patient, a group of satanic cult members. You can pick your own ending. The bus is still there, although seats have been taken out of the bus. They say the bus fills up with murdered children, each sitting in their seat, while the killer ghost is a man smoking a cigarette on the back of the bus. You can hear children's laughter, then fear and screams raining from the bus. Locals have tried to tow the cursed bus away, but each time they attempt to do so, it has resulted in injury and even death. They decided to leave the bus alone. The churches. Local churches are used as cover for evil cults. We've been told that all people in the area worship the devil, and that there are animal mutilations and satanic symbols all over the place. All which leads to the church, supposedly. Black masses are conducted here. Group of devil worshippers own the church. Many stories about the church. There are always candles burning in the church, even at night. The church has upside-down crosses all over it as decoration. The church is never open for mass, no matter what time you go there. As with any town, churches are a strong source of creepy legends. There are 2 churches within HellTown, Boston Community Church and Mother of Sorrows, but the legends talk about the Mother of Sorrows. Local authorities warn motorists not to travel through Boston Township at night due to satanic activity in the area. Satanic churches in the HellTown. Here are most of the people in this area go to the church to worship devils and black mass. The hearse. If you go past the road closed signs, you will find a house that a creepy old man, sometimes it's a family, lives in. The man drives a hearse. He will chase you in it if you get too close to his house. Sometimes he will even try to run you down in his hearse. The hearse has only one headlight, witnesses say. We tried to follow the hearse, but it vanished at the end of the road. People who claim to actually have been chased by this ghostly hearse, which then it disappears. End of the world. There is a steep winding road with a sudden stop that is called the End of the World Road, which is Stanford Road. Evil awaits all those who drive this road at night. The road is possessed and there have been numerous fatal car crashes on it. An evil force will try to take control of your car and force you to crash. If you drive to the end of the world at night, a group of rogue satanists will surround your car and form a human chain in an attempt to trap you there. Although the cars driving in this area are driving at high speeds and literally launching over the crest of the hill, won't be surprised of mishaps on this road. The highway to hell. Evil spirits lie in wait along a lonely road. A serial killer with an axe has been butchering motorists who travel this road at night. Police are unable to apprehend him. Don't drive down the highway to hell at night. There are crazy people who hide in the woods and jump out at you. The dead end road. If you go past the road closed signs in HellTown to the end of the dead end street, you will find a creepy cemetery. There are 2 roads that dead end for no reason. The roads both continue. The Satanists put up road closed signs up to keep you from going down to their secret hideouts. The funeral home. There is an abandoned funeral home next to the cemetery. Candles are often seen burning in the window at night, and cult members will chase you away if you try and get close to the building. The building some call the abandoned funeral home is the same one others say is the old slaughterhouse. The Children of the Corn. There is some connection between Boston Township and the movie Children of the Corn. The movie was filmed in Boston Township. Satanic props from the movie were left behind by the production crew and are now being used by area Satanists. The movie was based on real-life sick events that took place in HellTown. The original Children of the Corn, released in 1984 by New World, reports say that something connects the Boston town and the horror movie, Children of the Corn. Gore Orphanage. This orphanage was destroyed by the fire, along with the children and the employees, and every time it rains, you can hear the kids from the orphanage crying. The Crybaby Bridge. There's a Crybaby Bridge there, and it's said that if you bring an extra set of keys, park on the bridge, turn your car off, lock the doors, and walk away with the keys just sitting inside. When you come back, the car will be covered in dust with little footprints all over it, and the car will be running but still locked. Ohio's only national park. HellTown remains on the fringes of the national park, and it is an abandoned town. Moreover, the road has been blocked, but reports of much strange activity around the area that never stop. Bodies in the woods. Whether it's a coincidence or not, but people have found numerous bodies dumped in HellTown's woods. People residing in the region suddenly find park officials wander around their lawns and get close, they vanish. HellTown is a forbidden place where ghosts and spirits lurk. The town is cursed and frightens people after dark. The Mudhouse Mansion. This is an abandoned mansion, and it's rumored that the spirits of those families who once resided here still haunt this house. The Haunted Tunnel. There is a legend that the spirit of a man who died instantly by a train accident keeps wandering the tracks, screaming for help. The number of stories circulating about HellTown is so great that it would be nearly impossible to track them all. To a passing motorist unaware of the events taking place in the area, they most certainly would have thought they have stumbled into an episode of The X-Files, where an entire town simply disappeared mysteriously into thin air. A lot of this may be hard to believe. Can you figure out what really happened in HellTown? Only the residents know the full story. What is legends? What's not? Until next time, thanks for watching. If you have an idea on a video that you would like to see, I take all ideas into consideration. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course, like and comment. I always like to hear your thoughts, and once again, thanks for watching my exclusive on HellTown.